What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are going to be diving into something a little bit different. Instead of a tutorial outright, we're just going to dive into an image that I'm going to work through and show you my process on. This is a unique image because it's going to cause us to have to decide between color match and standard mode. So if you want to know how my brain processes HueForges, stay tuned. All right, so we are live in here inside of HueForge, and we have this image of Beetlejuice. Now, this month on my Patreon is Horror Month, and so this one is officially out now. If you want to download it, print it, head over there and check it out. So we have to decide something here, and this is what kind of inspired the video originally, was I need to decide between color match or standard mode. Now, a lot of people will just default to color match for this image, and we might go to color match eventually, but I want to play around with standard mode here because I think we can get something pretty accurate. Now, my workflow always starts with looking at standard mode because standard mode is the base of HueForge. This is the thing that everything else kind of builds on top of. So I press my middle scroll wheel down, and here's a couple things that I notice. I notice that my darker gray areas are my purple spots, and my lighter gray areas are my green spots. Now, this is important to know because if you've watched my beginner tutorial series, I'll link it down in the description below, then you'll know that standard mode bases the way that it reads color off of luminance. That's right. So the darker areas are going to live closer to the bottom of our color core, and the lighter areas are going to live closer to the top of our color core. So if the purple is darker and the green is lighter, theoretically, we should be able to get some good color differentiation inside of standard mode. So I'm going to drag in a purple down low and just kind of drag it around to maybe something like that. Now, you can see when we do it right here, maybe bring the black down just a tad there, we get some interesting results, and I'll zoom in maybe right here. You can definitely see that we get the darker area here and the lighter area with the white. Now, we might run into an issue here. Whenever I place green on top, this is probably going to turn green because it's eating the lighter part of our image. And so the only way to really test it is to try it out. So I'm going to drag in a green. Now, you can see that my theory was right because we dragged in green and put it near the top. This changed from white into green, and that's because of the gray that it is. Now, if I bring my purple up, you can see that I can kind of get rid of that there. Now, we lose some of the more dynamic portions of the image here. You see, if we were color matching, we could get a darker purple and then a lighter purple, and we could maybe like try, but it's not really going to get us close to where we want to go. Bring the green down ever so slightly. I mean, you can play around. It's actually not awful. Maybe if I bring that down ever so slightly. Okay, there we go. We were able to kind of preserve some of this here, and that's because we put a white inside of the middle, and so it's eating up this dark, lighter gray. It's lighter than the darker gray, but darker than the light gray, if that makes sense. So we can keep that there for now. Now, we do have some other stuff kind of going on here, and that's with our green. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Bambu Lab green. I'm actually not a fan of most of Bambu Lab's greens. I think most of their greens are kind of gross. They're not very vibrant. I would actually say my favorite green probably is the apple green, but it's a little too light for this context here. So let's try this Kexaled grass green here, and that's much closer to our image, much closer. Now, if we bring black up above the white, maybe like one layer, this is called rebasing. Now, this technically happens a lot inside of ColorPop mode, but you can do it inside of standard mode to basically start over. So your black has a very low transmission distance, and so you can lay it there on the bottom to get a very, you're basically starting over, you're rebasing your print, and so we can bring that up, and that's going to eat up some of these darker light gray areas. And so the way that this is building up, and you can see it very explicitly, black is on the bottom, it's on the darkest parts, purple is on the darker gray areas. This white is on the lighter dark gray areas. This black is on this darker lighter gray area. And then our green is on the light gray area. And you can see how we're stacking and blending these things together to create a print that is close to the original. Now we can come in here and play around with our brightness settings a tad. I think I'm going to keep it maybe on 0.01, at least for now. There are going to be a couple things that we're probably not going to be able to do inside of color, inside of standard mode. And that's things like the teeth here or the gums. We're probably not going to be able to match those, perfectly, but we can get super close. The next thing that I want to look at is the white. And I kind of want to play around with maybe a bone white or maybe like a beige white to just try and get something in here that's a little closer to what we see in the image. Maybe something like that. This is just kind of adding the muted tones to our color. That's what bone white and really beige are really good at doing. And so I am going to play around with beige. Bamboo Lab beige. Add that. I actually don't mind the beige at all. The beige does give us that muted kind of color as well. Maybe we'll bring the green up ever so slightly. We'll probably keep the black where it's at. Maybe even bring it down a layer. No, I'm going to keep it right there. And we're going to bring that white down there. So now we have much cleaner gum lines in the teeth. And we could always come in here and spot fix this. So if we wanted to, we could come in and really select these areas, and I'm just pressing the W key to increase my tolerance there. You can check out my SpotFix tutorial on my page. I'm going to select this, and you could really come here if you wanted them to all be even, and you could select all of the teeth, right? Let's say we want the teeth to be, a little like the same shade of gross. Then we could come in here and just spot fix all of it. Now, I'm doing this quickly, and so SpotFix is definitely one of those things that you kind of want to take your time on as you select things. Trying to select everything, and then you come in here and just press flat, and you should get a bit flatter on the teeth. There you go. And you could probably get pretty close to that yellow. Granted, I don't think we're going to try and blend yellow into our image here because it will take over. It might add some depth to the green. Maybe something like that is not too bad. Ooh, see, and this is why you play around with stuff. I'm like, I actually don't mind what it does to the hair here. It does a pretty good job, and we could theoretically bring our teeth down now to live in that yellowish area. Definitely needs to brush his teeth, maybe a little too green there. That's not bad there. Okay, then the last kind of spot that we have are these shaded shadow areas. Now, we could try a couple different things. We might be able to get a gray if we lower these layers down. And so what I'm going to do, instead of spot fixing all of it, I'm going to select an area and just test. So I'm going to select that area. We're going to click flat because I want that to be very one-toned. And we're going to bring it down to there. Now, do we get gray? No, we're playing around with purple. Now, we could try and bring like another black layer here and, bring this up a little bit, but it's probably not going to work the way we want it to. So we have a couple different options. We could bring this up and make it more white. And so we could blend it into this area up here, or we could blend it down and make it black. And let's just play around with both. This is really where HueForge turns into, let's just see what kind of works and go from there. So this is up in the white area, and this is now in that beige. And so we could play around with that more beige color. That's a pretty close kind of color spot to what we're going for. It's not perfect. It's a little too beige. We could maybe try and bring it down there to match closer. Now, if this is something you would want to do, then you need to spot fix all of them. And there's a quick trick that I've learned to be able to do that, because you see, as I'm coming in here, we have different shades. And if you have your tolerance high enough, you'll be fine. But what you can do is you can bring your brightness down or up to where it's all solid. Okay, so there's like, all of this is solid. So now I can just come in here. I'm actually going to delete those. I can just come in here and select it all pretty easily. You might have to play around with your tolerance a little bit, but it's a lot easier to select those flat regions than it is to have to play with your tolerance every single time. This is an area where we could definitely play with our tolerance. I'm just going to kind of come through here and select everything. I know watching these SpotFix images is probably not the most engaging video, and so if you're still hanging out with me, thank you. I appreciate you. This is a great time for me just to say thank you to all of y'all. We've just had an incredible amount of support on the YouTube channel and with the work that we're doing. And so seriously, thank you. I could not do this if it weren't for you guys. And it's not lost on me how awesome y'all are. And so I genuinely mean it when I say thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for engaging in the content. And thank you for supporting our endeavor to make HueForge as accessible and easy to use as possible. All right. I'm just going to come in here. I'm not going to grab all of it. I actually won't mind some pops of green, but definitely these spots that need to be maybe a little bit darker, we'll try and grab. And your image is going to be as good as your SpotFix selections are. Now, these will be relatively easy. Now, I'm a sucker for flat looking images. I think they look really cool. I like the way that they print, and I like the texture on them. They're super smooth, which is just honestly like a game changer. Whenever someone's looking to buy a HueForge print, having a bunch of spikes everywhere, even if it means like a ton of extra detail, is just kind of annoying and not always the most, it's not always the most good feeling thing. I've had so many people come to my booth and be like, I don't like the way that feels. And that's typically because it's got a lot of spikes on it. And so you always want to be kind of aware of that. Okay, so we've got that area selected, and I'm just going to kind of move this up. Maybe something like that. And I'm going to bring our green and yellow up, bring the beige down a layer, and then I'm going to play around with where this lives. The thing is, I don't necessarily want it to match the hair, so maybe this is a case of making it like a black. No, even like a dark purple could look good. No, this is why you just got to kind of play around with it. I think we're going to come back up to that beigey yellow. Something like that. There we go. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Awesome. And then we could do the same exact thing for like this area over here. Remember, we made it white. And so if we wanted to spot fix this, we could play around with our brightness. And again, we'd probably need to bring this back down to where we were at there. That's why I didn't like the way it looked. I was like, why is it not blending properly? And that will do it. There we go. Maybe something like that. There, now we're getting that deeper color in there. I make those mistakes all the time. And one thing I'm not doing that I should be doing is using my user tree here. You can see that I have autosaves saving, but this is probably the point where I'm like, man, this is probably something that I want to snag and print. And so I'm going to say standard mode option 1. And this is just going to save there. So if I ever want to come back and, save this one or print it, I have that autosave there. And it's locked in. You can check out my project tree video. I'll link it down in the description for you guys. Awesome. This is probably better than a color match. Genuinely. This is better than a color match, and we were able to do it strictly inside of standard mode. Now, we can look at our describe file. We're using 6 filaments. And if you're designing files for other people to print, posting them on MakerWorld, posting them on Patreon, whatever, then you will know, and then maybe you've experienced that people typically do not print anything that's more than 4 colors. There are some incredible HueForges out there, but most people refuse to print unless it has 4 colors, because that's typically what most AMS systems can use. And so the unfortunate reality of that is that the one that you publish might have to be this one. You publish this one and you take the hit of like, man, that just doesn't look as good, but we're at 4 colors. Or you publish 2 different versions. You publish the 6 color version and the 4 color version. That's a very popular strategy as well. Whatever you decide to do, you need to make sure that you're happy with it. I've had to learn how to be happy with prints like this, even though I know I can get them to look like this. It adds just such depth to the print that it's hard for me to get off of this version. And so typically I'll release a 4 color version and a 6 color version for people that want to print both. Well, there you have it. That is my workflow on how I would approach this Beetlejuice image. A little bit different, where I'm just kind of explaining the things that I'm doing. If you want a full tutorial, you're like, Victor, I learned nothing because I don't know what you're doing, then check out my full beginner series. I'll link it down in the description below for you. That beginner series will walk you through everything that you need to know to understand what we just did. This is the more advanced side of standard mode. nail down standard mode first. You'll be able to do that and so much more in that series below. Huge shout out to all my patrons. Seriously, guys, I could not do this without you. Thank you so much for all of your support. Shout out to my YouTube members. You guys are the real ones, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, y'all, take care.